When I started listening to Drake 14 years ago, I never, ever thought I would hear him put out something as embarrassing as The Heart Part 6. Every artist has bad songs, bad albums, bad ideas. But when I tell you, I haven't listened to this song in 2 months, I like to pretend that it doesn't even exist. How can I put this as plainly as humanly possible?
It was one of the worst performances I've seen in my life. I couldn't sleep.
Derapy. Quick recap of the last thing that we heard from Kendrick. He called him a free throw. Light work. He called him a predator, a ball boy, a bad friend who's surrounded by drug addicts and people that have names like Mortal Kombat characters. And I'm just still trying to figure out why those people are around. Kendrick chastised Drake for disrespecting a hip-hop legend, called him a white dude. He called him the white dude from Malibu's Most Wanted. Called him a pussy, by the way. Mocked his brand. Just kind of cha-cha slid on him in the meantime. Called him a parenting fail. Said his parents failed him and he's failing Adonis. Called him a colonizer. Turned the city of Atlanta against him and just reduced him to a fan. A fan. Not somebody that's at the top of the game. Not somebody that's one of the big three. Just a fan. And how would Drake respond? Well, unfortunately, that's all we're talking about today. That's it.
Now let me see you prove it. Just let me see you prove it.
All right. The Pulitzer Prize winner is definitely spiraling. I got your fucking lines tapped, I swear that I'm dialed in. First I was a rat, so where's the proof of the trial then? Where's the paperwork of the cabinet is filed in? 1090 Jake would've took all the walls down. The streets would've had me hiding out in a small town. My Montreal connects stand up, not fall down. The ones that you getting your stories from, they all clowns.
Now, some of you already know why I just stopped it right there. Drake is telling us that the stories that Kendrick is telling, he's hearing from clowns. Clowns, which is basically him saying, these are unreliable sources you're getting these from. It's totally made up. And before this, he's talking about how if he is a rat, where is the proof of the trial then? Where's the paperwork or the cabinet it's filed in? He wants us to know, because I don't think he's talking to Kendrick directly. He's trying to let us know that, well, if I'm a snitch, why isn't there any proof of it? And you know what? That's fine. That's totally fair. If Kendrick doesn't have proof of you ratting, then that's fine. But this is supposed to be a diss, and it sounds like you just being defensive right now. Drake also claims that he would be hiding out in a small town if he was actually a snitch because the streets of Canada are so dangerous that if he actually was tattletaling, somebody would have gunned him down by now. Okay, Drake, we'll take your word for it. Canada is very dangerous. I can't even say that with a straight face.
I am a war general, seasoned in preparation. My jacket is covered in medals, honor and decoration. You waited for this moment, overcome with the desperation. We plotted for a week and then we fed you the information.
Once upon a time, I used to write raps myself. If you've been listening to the show for a while, which most people that are listening to this have not been, you would know that I used to rap on the show every once in a while, just like for fun.
No, we are not putting the rap here.
And the way that I used to write rap sometimes is I would have like a good bar, and then I would literally look for words online that rhymed with the word at the end of the bar. And that's how I would construct my next couple of sets of bars. And can I just be honest? I feel like Drake is doing that here. Like, desperation, information, decoration, desperation, preparation. These words rhyme. So Drake is a rapper. All I'm trying to say is, like, I'm not trying to claim that I'm a better rapper than Drake. I'm just saying that it's kind of a basic rhyme scheme. And I just feel like he's capable of more than that. I'm not even mad. I'm just disappointed. So he says he's a war general, seasoned in preparation. He could be referring to, these medals and honor and decoration of his other victories, which I can't really name many outside of the Meek Mill one, but you guys will, I'm sure, fill me in on that. We plotted for a week and then fed you the information is really, really interesting. Because y'all met up, locked in, and gave him the answers to the test. If Kendrick is saying a whole bunch of stuff that Drake fed him, What a terrible, you know what? I'm going to tell you guys a story that I actually told once upon a time and then deleted because I was so embarrassed of it. But this is about Drake, not me. I had an ex once upon a time that gained access to a group chat of mine. And I found out that she did this. So I started saying all types of terrible things about her because I knew that she would see it. Not a nice thing to do. But, you know, since you're here. So what she did was she took these messages that I was sending to my friends about how much she sucked, and then she posted them to Facebook with the context of, oh, one of Derek's friends sent me these messages of all these horrible things he was saying about me. Now, I knew, and I believe that she knew, that I wasn't being serious in these messages. But she got to contextualize it however she wanted because she was the distributor of this information. Drake claiming that a lot of the things that Kendrick is saying is because Drake gave him the information and then Kendrick ends up winning the rap beef. How does that not look even worse for Drake? You literally gave him the playbook to beat you. Do you know how stupid that is? Also, the juxtaposition of the information you're getting is from clowns and also We're the Clowns is one of the dumbest things I have ever heard in any song ever.
A daughter that's 11 years old, I bet he takes it. We thought about giving a fake name or a destination, but you so thirsty, you not concerned with investigation. Instead, you in that Venice studio, it's a celebration. You gotta learn to fact check things and be less impatient. Your fans are rejoicing, thinking this is my expiration. Even the picture you use, the jokes and the medication, the Maybach glove and the drug he uses for less inflation.
Now that I've mentioned it, I can't stop unhearing it. Like, wow, this is really impressive. This is very impressive by a guy that's trying to take out, like, the best rapper in the world right now. Hear me out, guys. He did rhyme destination with investigation, and then celebration, and then impatient, and then expiration, and then medication. Are you impressed? I personally, as a Drake fan, was not impressed, but maybe this does something for you. For me, it does not. It did not excite me. Your monotone delivery and your kindergarten rhymes do not move me. And do you know how strange it is being the guy that got exposed for having a son that he was hiding, having like a private meeting with his closest friends about how he's going to pretend to have an 11-year-old daughter so a guy can diss him with it? Doesn't that strike you as like a strange use of your time? I haven't listened to this song in a really long time, but I'm actually sitting here wondering if there is a single good thing that Drake does in this song.
Master manipulator, you bid on a speculation. You dumb and reactive, nigga, I'm petty with dedication. What about the bones we dug up in that excavation? And why isn't Whitney denying all of the allegations? Why is she following Dave Free and not Mr. Morale? You haven't seen the kids in 6 months, the distance is wild. Dave leaving heart emojis underneath pics of the child. Speaking of anything with a child, let's get to that now.
Now, buckle up, my friends, because what is, in my opinion, the worst part of this song is about to come up. But let's talk about what we just heard first. You've probably noticed that like my energy level is lower in this episode because I am actually experiencing in real time secondhand embarrassment, just trying to explain what I think Drake is saying. Drake is saying that it is possible that Whitney is confirming the fact that she's been abused based on her silence. Whitney isn't like a YouTuber. She's not going to come out with a video like, guys, I know what Drake is saying. Kendrick did not hit me. What does he think she's supposed to do? Drake is also trying to convince us that because Whitney is following Dave Free on Instagram and not following Kendrick Lamar, that this clearly proves that they had an affair and she had Dave Free's child. Drake, a grown man in his mid-30s, is trying to convince you that the validity and affection level of somebody's relationship is based on their Instagram activity.
What the fuck?
Kendrick's advantage is that the majority of the things that he was dissing Drake about were things that maybe just not everybody knew, but were like verifiably true and like were very indicative of the type of person that Drake actually is. I don't care about Drake's nose, but if somebody's making claims that he got work done, you can look at before and after pictures. Clearly, Drake was hiding his son, so when Kendrick brings that up again, nobody's surprised.
He has a son?
Lil Wayne openly talks about Drake having sex with this girl, so when Kendrick brings it up, nobody's like, I wonder what clowns he's getting this information from. The irony of Drake telling Kendrick that he needs to come with receipts is ridiculous because pretty much all the stuff, with the exception of the daughter, all the stuff that Kendrick is talking about, like a quick Google search will show you like video evidence of the stuff he's talking about. Now we're 10 minutes in and Drake is actually only digging himself deeper into the loser's hole. But I promise you, what we're about to hear is actually so much worse.
Now, this Epstein angle was the shit I expected.
Stop talking!
I almost cut the track off right there on my very first listen. You're telling me you actually went into a studio and recorded yourself saying, I knew that you would take this Epstein angle. Everybody already thinks I'm a predator. Could you imagine Kendrick Lamar getting on a song in the middle of a rap beef and being like, I knew you would say that I was beating my wife. Do you have any idea how dumb this sounds? I think he's trying to do like a whole B-Rabbit 8 Mile type angle. It does not work when it comes to like diddling kids, Drake. I'm having a hard time even talking about what Drake is talking about. The words don't come naturally for me. Drake is really out here with his chest out saying, I knew you'd compare me to Jeffrey Epstein. Everybody already thinks that I'm a diddler. Brother, seek help.
TikTok videos you collected and dissected. Instead of being on some disdirect shit, you rather fucking grab your pen and misdirect shit.
Drake is now trying to convince you, a likely high school graduate, that Kendrick is getting all of his information from the Clock app in order to diss him and call him a child predator. You're telling me that Kendrick Lamar is sitting in the studio with a beat made by DJ Mustard, scrolling through TikTok to dig up dirt to call you a colonizer? Do you have any idea how stupid this shit sounds? I have never been so embarrassed to be a Drake fan in my life. It wasn't Meet the Grams. It wasn't Not Like Us. It was this. This actually hurt me the most.
My mom came over today and I was like, mother, wait a second. That's that one record where you say you got molested. Oh, fuck me. I just made the whole connection.
I'm actually getting pissed off. So Drake is telling us the story of this fabricated conversation between him and his mother, where apparently he had this epiphany that Kendrick is calling him a pedophile because he was molested as a child. When if Drake listened to the fucking read the lyrics on Genius like I'm doing right now for a show that nobody is gonna listen to, relatively speaking, compared to Drake's final diss track, Drake is trying to convince you that on a song where Kendrick explicitly said he wasn't touched, he actually was, and that's why he's so upset with Drake. He's projecting.
I could run through a wall right now.
This about to get so depressing. This is trauma from your own confessions. This when your father leave you home alone with no protection, so neglected. That's why these pedophile raps, the shit you so obsessed with, is so excessive. They acting like it's so aggressive, but you just never known affection. I don't wanna dish you anymore.
Aubrey Drake Graham, a Grammy Award winning rap artist, first of all, is rhyming excessive and aggressive and affection, and he expects you to be impressed by it. And then goes on to say that he actually feels bad for dissing Kendrick based off of a lyric that he misinterpreted off of Kendrick's album. Kendrick predicted this, by the way. He literally said that he would make things up because he has the media literacy of my cat and can't understand that Kendrick is talking about generational trauma and the effects of it on the black community. Drake is like, yeah, Kendrick got touched as a kid and that's why he's so upset with me right now. My brother in Christ, lock in, okay? You have to do better than this. And to try and use this as an excuse to duck out of the beef again? In Family Matters, Drake is like, I'm going on vacation. You guys try better next time. And now he's in The Heart Part 6 like, no, you know what? No, I feel bad for Kendrick. I don't want to diss him anymore. Bro, you lost. You lost the beef. And you're just trying to find a way to cut ties and get out of it. It's so painful. But there's still more.
Boy, this really got me second guessing. Touch My Body by Mariah Carey play, you probably start reflecting. I never been with no one underage, but now I understand why this the angle that you really mess with. Just for clarity, I feel disgusted. I'm too respected. If I was fucking young girls, I promise I'd have been arrested. I'm way too famous for the shit you just suggested.
I'm on fire.
Drake is trying to use the argument that if a tree fell in a forest and no one was around to hear it, did it even touch a child? Fuck! I haven't been arrested, so what makes you think I've committed any crimes? People that are famous have never gotten in trouble for anything ever. Did you know that the more Instagram followers you have, the less likely you are to be detained? Donald Trump just got convicted for 34 different things and then shot in the face. Being famous does not release you of responsibility or consequences. And Drake choosing to actually say on a recorded line, quote, if I was fucking young girls, end quote, I feel gross just saying that Drake said it. The fact that you've even been put in a position where you feel like you have to say this is an L on its own. And this loser is actually referencing Mariah Carey's Touch My Body and trying to say that if Kendrick heard that, he'd probably start reflecting. He'd probably make him feel very awkward. I've never been so confident until this very moment in my life that I could beat Drake in a fist fight. And I don't even box for real, but like, has anybody's pin game ever been so bad that you actually think less of them physically?
I'm way too famous for the shit you just suggested, but that's not the lesson. Clearly there's a deeper message. Deep cuts that never healed and now they got infected. Like if Dave really fucked your girl and got her pregnant. Talk about breeding resentment. Not sure how to ease the sentiment, the shit's too intimate. I'm praying you recover from both incidents, but you a piece of shit, so this shit really no coincidence. Drake is not a name that you gon' see on no sex offender list. Easy does it.
Drake the type of guy to say easy does it in a rap beef. And I can't stress to you enough how ridiculous it is that you have to openly say that Drake isn't a name that you're going to find on a sex offender list. And I know this is low-hanging fruit, but it wouldn't say Drake. It would say Aubrey. Also, Drake continuing to pretend to feel bad for a thing that didn't happen, I find to be so ridiculously embarrassing, it's barely worth mentioning. I'm praying you recover from both incidents, but you a piece of shit, so this shit really no coincidence. Is Drake trying to say that Kendrick Lamar deserved to be molested as a child? Which I once again would like to remind you literally didn't happen, but he's trying to say that it's no coincidence that he was taken advantage of as a minor because he's being mean to Drake right now. What the how did we, what happened to the game I love?
You mentioned an A minor, but niggas gotta be sharp and tell the fans who was it. You thought you left D flat, D major. I'll slit your throat with the razor and do Rick Ross hair like that one flight from Malaysia. I'm your baby mama screensaver. Only fucking with Whitney's, not Millie Bobby Brown's. I never look twice at no teenager.
Dude, the more that I listen to this song back and forth just so I can continue to talk about it, the more like genuinely upset I am becoming. Drake is taking time out of his precious life to try and flip the A minor bar to say that you gotta be sharp and tell the fans who was it. Then goes on to say, you thought you left D flat, D major? I'll slit your throat with the razor and do Rick Ross air like that one flight from Malaysia. So he's Drake threatening to crash a plane that Rick Ross is on. Also, just randomly mentioning Rick Ross like 4 minutes into the song is just so random, but not nearly as random as just saying, I'm your baby mama's screensaver. What are you currently on about? Only fucking with Whitney's, not Millie Bobby Brown's. I'd never look twice at no teenager.
Liar!
Literally, the episode before this, I showed you two examples of not only Millie Bobby Brown doing Drake just an all-time disservice. We want to talk about snitches, tattletales. Millie Bobby Brown basically ruined Drake with that clip of her saying that Drake was texting her talking about how much he missed her when she was 14. Then says that he would never look twice at no teenager when he is literally on tape at a concert in Denver, Colorado in 2010. Literally looking twice at a teenager, has the girl tell him that she's 17, then says he likes the way her breasts feel against him. I'm getting sick even talking about this. These are things that are facts. And I want you to remember that when we get towards the end of this song and Drake starts talking about what's true and what isn't true. Because I don't understand how he could say these things with such confidence, knowing what is so easily accessible via the World Wide Web.
I'm a fucking hit maker, dog, not a peacemaker. Yeah, bullets that I'm stuffing in each chamber. Your ass in extreme danger. Stop buying views and buy comments. You may as well keep the paper. Shit you about to need for later. I give a fuck about your streaming data. You could drop 100 more records. I'll see you later. Yeah, maybe when you meet your maker. I don't wanna fight with a woman beater. It feeds your nature. If you still bumping R. Kelly, you could thank the savior. Said if they deleted his music, then your music is going to a hypocrite. I don't understand why these people praise you. Sounding like you sent him commissary when he needs some paper. Album dropping soon, no wonder you turn a clout chaser instead of doing hard labor. Nigga, I see you when I see you like Fantasia. Whitney, you can hit me if you need a favor. And when I say I hit your back, it's a lot safer. I promise.
I'm a hit maker, dog, not a peacemaker. Well, hit-wise, this song flopped harder than Magikarp. It's under 30 million views on YouTube. Not Like Us is over 100 million. Drake has actually gotten to a point where he's straight up given up on trying to beat Kendrick in a straight up battle and just accuses him of buying views and bots like a Deji and KSI beef or something. Drake is saying he doesn't want to beef with a woman beater after dropping 3 straight tracks about the woman beater. And one of the last things Drake has to say to end this beef with him and Kendrick Lamar is that he is a hypocrite because he's the reason that people are still listening to R. Kelly. I am almost completely speechless. I know that sounds ridiculous because we're 22 minutes and 43 seconds into this podcast, but when I tell you, I have never been so disappointed in a music artist in my entire life. And if you thought Drake was done letting me down because he finished rapping, just wait until you hear his little epilogue, his little monologue, his little send-off where he thinks that he really thinks he's doing something with this. This is the sound of a tired, defeated, pathetic excuse of a man.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, this shit was some good exercise. Like, it's good to get out, get the pen working. You would be a worthy competitor if I was really a predator and you weren't fucking lying to every blogger and editor, but
You would be a worthy competitor if I was really a predator. You weren't fucking lying to every blogger and editor. What are you doing right now? I want to believe that when Drake is making this track, he's making it with the intention of Kendrick Lamar listening to it directly. Does Drake actually think it's going to do any damage to Kendrick when he's like, for the record, this would have been fun, but you started lying? My guy, it's over.
it is what it is. You definitely got this shit burnt the fuck out though, like. You got 10 more records to drop. The one before the last one, we finessed you into telling a story that doesn't even exist.
Drake claims he finessed Kendrick into telling a story that doesn't exist after telling a story that does not exist about Kendrick in his childhood. But go off, brother.
And then you go and drop the West Coast one and try and cover that up. I would like that one. That would be some shit I could dance to if you wasn't tripling down on some whole other bullshit. But
Drake is disappointed in Kendrick Lamar because he wanted to dance to Not Like Us, but every time people start screaming A minor, it kind of kills the vibe for him. Nah, that West Coast joint was really cool, but that part where he said that Baca's got a weird case, something about that just kind of turns me off. I'm still trying to figure out why he's around. It was really catchy until he started yelling OV ho. I gotta be honest, that wasn't really my favorite part. And I don't know why he called me a colonizer. I don't even know what that means. 2 Chainz, Lil Baby, the Savage Guy, those are my pals, okay? If you could drop a version of Not Like Us where you aren't saying those mean things about me, I would really appreciate that because my name's Drake and I like to dance. I could not Tootsie Slide to you calling me a pussy. It just doesn't work.
You know, at least your fans are getting some raps out of you. I'm happy I can motivate you, bring you back to the game, like, you know, but just let me know when we're getting to the facts. Everything in my shit is facts. I'm waiting on you to return the favor, like.
I'm looking at the lyrics on my phone right now, and the very last word of this song is like. Drake just kind of trails off. He just gives up. He takes the headphones off and just walks out of the studio. I'm waiting on you to return the favor, like. And he just leaves. That's the last thing we hear from Drake in this beef. He says, everything in my shit is facts. How is it possible that you can say this knowing somebody had to have told Drake that Kendrick didn't actually get touched? You would think that somebody would tell Drake, hey man, you rapping about how you're not on a sex offender list isn't actually a good look. Hey man, you saying that you expected him to call you a pedophile probably isn't a good look, man. Hey, you mentioning Millie Bobby Brown by name probably isn't a good look, considering there is that interview where she said that you guys are texting back and forth about boy problems. Hey man, you saying that Whitney's screensaver is you is kind of corny and unnecessary. Hey, you mentioning Touch My Body by Mariah Carey and thinking that's actually a diss and doesn't make you sound like a complete dork. I don't know if that's the best move, man. I don't really know what else to say. I have not actually had like a incredibly fun time talking about this song because it really forced me to embrace just how bad it is now that I'm doing an episode of my show about it. And frankly, I've been able to listen to Drake for the past couple of months, some of the older stuff, and just pretend like this song didn't exist. Like I was just pretending like it didn't exist. But now that I have spent hours going through these lyrics, listening back to them, talking about how terrible of a performance it was, I truly do view Drake differently. It's going to be really tough for me to just go and bump Nothing Was the Same, or If You're Reading This It's Too Late, because somewhere deep down in my heart, I listen to these songs and I know that Drake has more to come. He's going to grow up. He's going to get even better at rapping. He's going to get tougher. He's going to perfect his craft. But I also happen to know the future. I know that when I'm listening to Take Care over a decade later, he's going to be talking about taking pride in fabricating a story about an 11-year-old daughter so he could trick somebody into talking about how he's a deadbeat. Like I just can't really take any pride in that. If you made it this far, I really appreciate you. Like this was hard for me to do. Hopefully you enjoyed listening to it. My favorite part about what's happening with these episodes is getting other people's perspectives. If you want to talk about your favorite line from this song, actually, I should have wrote this before I said it because that doesn't even make any sense. You want to talk about the worst part of this song? Does anybody want to share with me if Drake literally did a single good thing by putting this record out? Is there any reason that it's still available to listen to on YouTube? Is it not regrettable that people like me are still allowed to download this and pick it apart? Please let me know. And if you like what you're hearing, subscribe.